0. You are now live. Close. TCP. Camera selection. Back camera. Camera selection.
3:46 p.m. 2 notifications.
Hey guys, I am having some slight issues, but I had to restart part 2 of this. So, if you've already seen this, thanks for watching again.
Well, let that lonely feeling wash away, 'cause maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong
TCP 50. Close. You are now live. Thomas Turner joined. You are now live. Christy Clown joined. You are close. You are now live. Christy Clown joined. Close. Button. Speech off.
3:47 p.m. 2 notifications.
even when the dark comes crashing through,
3, 2, 3, 0,
and when you're broken
8.
on the ground,
TU. Speech off.
you will be found. So let the
Cow.
sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again.
Nose to the west.
Head and look around.
You have 7 hogs at the north fence. Swipe 2 fingers towards that fence to move the animals into the barn. Cow. You have 11 cows at... You have 8 cows at the west fence. Swipe 2 fingers towards that fence to move the animals into the barn. You don't have enough stamina left. Fight with other mobs to gain XP and cash. Fight mobsters. Use your skill point to upgrade stamina. Upgrade stamina. Higher maximum stamina lets you complete more missions faster. It takes max energy. Max energy. 9. Upgrade. Upgrade. +1 energy. Higher maximum attack. Attack. 2. Upgrade. Upgrade. Higher attack increases chances of win while attacking other mob. Defense. 1. Upgrade. Upgrade. Higher defense. Max health. 100. Higher maximum health lets you unlocks at level 10. Hood. Selected. Missions. Tab. 2 of 5. Max energy. Higher maximum. Upgrade. 18. Max stamina. 8. Upgrade. Upgrade. 8. Max. You can. Skill points remain. 21. You have. Wall. Skills. Items. Stat. Ret. Add slot. Crime family. 72.5%. 58. XP. 11. Mobs. 8. Level. Notification. Settings. 1 minute ago. Software update will be auto-installed. iOS 12.4.9 is available and will be installed later tonight. More. Clear. Plus 1,000. 80 million. 7 new notification. 80,521,006. Fight. Selected. Selected. Missions. Tab. 2 of 5. Claim the hood. X3 Ford Red. Do it. Do it. Do it. Burned out. You don't have enough stamina. You have 21 skill point remaining. You don't have enough stamina left. Fight with other mobs. Fight mobsters. Use your skill point to upgrade your stamina. Upgrade stamina. Upgrade stamina. Higher maximum stamina max energy. Higher upgrade. 18. Max stamina. 8. Upgrade. Upgrade. +1 stamina. 19. Upgrade. Upgrade. +1 stamina. 20. Upgrade. Upgrade. +1 stamina. 20. Armory. Tab. Selected. Armory. Tab. 4 of 5.
Check out the armory. for a second.
Fight. Tab. Missions. Up. Weapons. Up key. 400. Tip. Click Balisong knife. +2. Attack. +0. Defense. 500. Tab. 8. Sell. Buy. Buy. 100. Cash. Brass knuckles. +2. Attack. +2. Defense. 800. Tab. 7. Sell. Buy. Buy. Screen dim. Balisong knife. Tip. Click on the item image for multi-purchase window. Up key. 400. Balisong knife. +2. Attack. +0. Defense. 500. Tab. 9. Sell. Buy. Buy. 7 new notifications. Fight. Tab. 3 of selected. Recruit. Tab. 5 of 5. Fight. Missions. Hood. Tab. B&T launcher. Hood. Tab. Selected. Hood. Business. Business. Buy. Sells for. Buy. Selected. Recruit. Tab. 5 of 5. Mod code. Ellipsis. Text field. Fight. Mission. Hood. Tab. Selected. Hood. Tab. 1 of 5. Two, 6/28. 7 new notifications. Back.
Naomi Scott.
I'm a Verizon engineer, and today we're turning on
Speech off and can now be track position. Less than a video selected. Selected. Skip ad. Speech off.
Refresh. You received a gift pack from Zodiac King. Period. 1 hour ago. Go to mock gift. You received. Go to mock gift. Go to mock gifts. Help. Recruit. 80D mod. Recruit. 80D mod. You have 11 mod members. 8. Recruit. Gifts. Gifts. My mod. You can give gift packs to you every 24 and can receive 5 gifts daily. Period. Send gifts. You can send gifts of gifts received. Zodiac King. Sent you gift pack 1 hour ago. Open. Open. Sent you gift pack. Received. 4. Stamina. 1 hour ago. Collect. Collect. Collected 4 stamina. Sent you gift pack. 2 hours ago. Open. 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 Sent you gift pack. Received. 7. Casino chips. 2 hours ago. Collect. Collect. Collected 7 casino chips. War box. Sent you gift. 18 hours. Open. Selected. Armory. Tab. 4 of 5. Selected. Armory. Tab. Recruit. Tab. 5 of 5. Selected. Recruit. Tab. 6. Invite with mob. Your mob. My mob. Gifts. Gifts. 1 hours ago. Kill. Sent. Received. 7. 2 hours. Sent. 8. Open. 18 hours ago. Open. Selected. Armory. Tab. 4 of 5. Sells for 100. Cash. Brass nut. +2. 5. Missions. Tab. 2 of 5. Down. Yes or no. Battle arena. Zany. Trivia crap. Battle cry. Double tap. Down. Battle cry. Commanders. John 8345. 7. Attack nearby enemy outpost. Refresh.
Speech off. Selected. Selected. Speech off.
In love with the one that could break my
Show me what you do. Welcome to
8 new notifications. 8 new notifications. Back.
It's a very, very, very fine house.
You received a support pack from Meandress. Period. 20 minutes. Go to support. Big Jenny Taylor. Go to support. Go to support pack. Help. You have 11 commanders. Send now. Send now. Support packs received. Meandress. Sent you 20 minutes. Open. Open. Cash. 20 minutes ago. Collect. Collect. Collected 40,723,942 cash. Drone codes. HQ. Tab. X. Continue. Continue. Warrior rank 4. Continue. Continue. X2. Skip. Continue. Warrior rank 4. Honor reward. Continue. HQ. Continue. Continue. 40,723,942. Cash. 20 minutes ago. Fish food. Sent you support pack. 3 days ago. Open. Open. Sent you support pack. Down. Receive. 12. Supplies. 3 days ago. Collect. Supplies. 12. Collect. Collect. 3 days ago. Meandress. Sent you 3 days ago. Open. Selected. Units. Tab. 4 of 5. Can command best 21 captains. Can total 145 army upkeep 30,000 tip clip star 3 star deploy. Deploy.
Speech on. Selected. Script selected. Collapse plane. Button.
Attack. Attack. You won the battle.
All those days watching from the windows, all those years outside looking in, all that time never even knowing just how blind I felt.
64.55%. Captured 1,274,000. Attack another. Attack another. You lost the battle. 6.6. Deploy more units. Deploy more units. Can command best 130 units from each army class. Army. Army. Deploy. Deploy. Can command best 130 units from each army. Deploy. Deploy. Attack. Attack. You won the battle.
Everything is different now that I see you.
63.9. Attack another.
Don't stop your crying, it'll be alright. Just take my hand, hold it tight.
Attack another. You won the battle.
I love you, don't you cry.
Attack another. Attack another. You lost the battle. Deploy more units. Deploy more units. Deploy. Deploy. Have. Deploy. Deploy. Attack. Attack. You lost the battle. Lost minus 7.36. Deploy more units. Deploy more units. Have. Deploy. Deploy. Cells 4. 2,500. Cash. Class. Ground Infantry. Grenadier. +5. Attack. +4. +4. M0 MGREL.
Speech on. 2 pack of rejoined. 47, 43 button. Speech off. Speech on. 2 pack 47. Christy Club. You are now lit. Close. Button. Speech off.
Battle. Blindfold checkers. Double tap to open. Blindfold song name. Downtown Battle. Page 7. Audio Moto Championship. Blindfold tap and Dice World. Audio Game Hub. RS Game. Battle Arena. Double tap to open. Start. Button. Battle Arena. Page 7 of 10. Adjust page 8 of 10. Land of Lydia. Blindscape. Inite. Blindfold soccer kick. Double tap to open. Blindfold skip. Button.
Welcome
Blindfold soccer kick menu.
To learn how to play,
Tap the help button. Selected. Practice kicking. Practice with slow go.
to go back to the main menu, swipe up with 3 fingers. Starting, you didn't kick the ball. You made the goal, 1 point. Goal net on right side. Ball 2 out of 7. Swipe up to... You missed the goal. You didn't kick the ball far.
Computer blocked your shot.
You didn't kick the ball far. You made the goal. 1 point. Goal net on right side. Ball 6 out of 7. Swipe up to kick. You made the goal. You made the goal. 1 point. Level 1 is over. You scored 4 points. Game is over. Swipe up with 3 fingers.
Exclamation point going back to main menu. Buy or settings. Button. Alert. If you have any OK. Downtown Mafia. Downtown Mafia. Downtown Mafia. Downtown Mafia. Downtown Mafia. Downtown Mafia. Now. Attack. Abdul attacked you. Fire. Settings. Common settings. Heading. Choose the competitor. Now, let's talk and sound. Post my new high score. Choose drums. How faster goalie. Drum sound where goal is. Now it is on. How stereo separation. Now it is medium. Background sounds. Now it is stadium medium. Alert. Background sound. Quiet. Cancel. Quiet. But. Blindfold soccer kick. Background sounds. Now it is quiet. Stereo separation. Now it is medium. How faster goalie gets on each level. Background sound. Game settings. How drum sound where goal is. Now it is on. Alert. Drum sound on. Off. Cancel. Cancel. Off. Button. Drum sound where goal is. Now it is up. Settings. Done. Button.
Speech. Previous. Next. Like. Button. Select. Add it to your likes. Delete player. Pause. But track position. Hugh Jackman and the Greatest Showman Ensemble. The Greatest Showman Ensemble. Hugh Jackman. Link. More actions. From now on. Speech off.
Screen dimmed. Practice kicking. Blindfold soccer kick menu. Selected. Practice with slow goalie. Practice.
To go back to the main menu, swipe up with 3 fingers. Starting game. Practice kicking. Goal net on right side. Ball 1 out. You didn't kick the ball. You made the goal. 1 point. You missed the goal. You missed the goal. Please wait a few seconds. Starting round 2. Goal net on right side. Ball 1 out of 7. You didn't kick the ball. You didn't kick. You made the goal. 1 point. Level 1 is over. You scored 4 points. Game is over. Swipe up with 3 fingers.
Exclamation point going back to main menu.
Home again. From now on,
Blindfold.
home again.
Ear-opoly. Double tap to open.
From now on, home again.
Blind line. Page 8 of 10. Adjust. Page 8 of 10. Page 7 of 10.
Ejecutiva sin interés en tener hijos.
Speech on. Action now be skipped. Daddy sang more actions. Video selected. Selected. Speech on.
Blindfold, Downtown Mafia, Battle Cry, Trivia Crack. Page 7 of 10, Page 6, Here's Farmland, Messend, Band, in iCloud, Future Fake, Game World, Life's, Game World. Game World, Back, Button. Home, Games, Dim, Games, Dim. Chat rooms, Games, Dim, Home, Buttons. Hangman, Home, Button, Pirate Poker, Active Game, 2-player game. Pirate Poker, Button. Word Builder, Blackjack, Trivia Trick, Ludopalooza. Connecting to that. Button, exit. Button. Double tap to select. 2-player game. Choose game. Classic. Check. Toggle. Double tap to change. Play. Trying to find opponents. Please wait. Ellipsis. This will take a few seconds. Player join. Your color is yellow. Roll. 2. No moves. Red's turn. 2. Your turn. 4. No moves. Red's turn. 5. Your turn. 3. No moves. Red's turn. 2. Your turn. No moves. Red's turn. 5. Your turn. 5. No moves. Red's turn. 4. Your turn. 3. No moves. Red's turn. 3. Your turn. No moves. Red's turn.
Speech on. Selected.
1. Your turn.
Left player. Speech off.
No moves. Red's turn. 4. Your turn. 4. No moves. Red's turn. 3. Your turn. 6. Pawn 1 to board. Roll. Your turn. Select pawn 2 to board. Roll. Select pawn 1, yellow pawn to 6. Red's turn. 1. Your turn. 2 in base. Roll. 6. Select pawn 1 on 6. Can move. Yellow pawn to 12. Red 2 in base. Roll. 1. Select pawn 1 on 12. Yellow pawn to 13. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to board. 6. Red pawn to board. 5. Red pawn to 32. Your turn. 2 in base. Roll. Your turn. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1 on 13. Yellow pawn to 18. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 32. Your turn. Your turn. Red player. 2. 2 invade, roll. Select pawn 1. Yellow pawn to 23. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 36. Your turn. 2. Menu. Roll. 2. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1. Yellow pawn to 25. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 35. Your turn. 2 in base. Roll. 3. Select pawn to pawn. Yellow pawn to 28. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 40. Your turn. 2 in base. Roll. 1. Select pawn 1. Yellow pawn to 29. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to board. 2. 2. Roll. Disable. Red pawn to 29. Picked yellow pawn on 29 off board. 2. Red pawn to 31. Your turn. Menu. Double tap with 2 fingers. Double tap with. But roll. 6. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1 to board. Red player. Get. 2. Roll. 3. Select pawn 1. Yellow pawn to 4. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 35. Your turn. 2 invade. Roll. 4. Select pawn to pawn 1. Yellow pawn to 8. Red's turn. 1. Red pawn to 41. Your turn. 2 invade. Roll. 1. Select pawn. Yellow pawn to 9. Red's turn. 6.
Speech on. Video
Red pawn to 41.
player. Selected.
3. Red pawn to 44. Your turn. 2 invade. Roll. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1 on. Yellow pawn to 12. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 48. Your turn. 2 invade. Roll. 1. Select pawn 1. Yellow pawn to 13. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 43. Your turn. Roll. 3. Select pawn 1. Yellow pawn to 16. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to board. Roll. Disable. Button. Double tap to select. Red pawn to 47. Your turn. Double tap with 2 fingers to menu. Roll. 3. Select pawn. Yellow pawn to 19. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 1. Your turn. 2 in base. Roll. Button. Select pawn. Yellow pawn to 23. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 52. Your turn. 2 in base. Roll. 3. Select pawn. Yellow pawn to 26. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 4. Your turn. 2. Roll. 1. Select pawn 1. Yellow pawn to 27. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to 10. 1. Red pawn to 11. Your turn. Roll. 5. Select pawn 1. Yellow pawn to 32. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 15. Your turn. 2 invade. Roll. 6. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1, pawn 2, pawn 3 invade. Pawn 3 to board. Red player. 1 in. Roll. 6. Select pawn 1 on 30. Yellow pawn to 38. Red player. Guess. 1 invade. Roll. 3. Select pawn 1. Yellow pawn to 41. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to 41. Picked yellow pawn on 41 off board. 2. Red pawn to 17. Your turn. 1 in, roll. Button, 1, select pawn to play. Pawn 1 in base. Cannot move, pawn 2 on 1, save. Yellow pawn to 2. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 19. Your turn. 2 in base, roll. 1, select pawn to, pawn 2 on, yellow pawn to 3. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 23. Your turn. 2 in base, roll. Select pawn 2 on 3, yellow pawn to 8. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn moves to goal stairway step 4. 1. Red pawn to 42. Your turn. 2 in base. Roll. 4. Select pawn 2, yellow pawn to 12. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 47. Your turn. Roll. Select pawn 2 on 12. Yellow pawn to 14. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 50. Your turn. 2 in base. Roll. Button. Select pawn 1 in base. Pawn 2 on 14. Yellow pawn to 17. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to 4. 6. Red pawn to 10. 4. Red pawn to 14. Your turn. Roll. 3. Select pawn 2, yellow pawn to 20. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 4. Your turn. Roll. 2. Select pawn 2, yellow pawn to 22. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn moves to goal. 3. Red pawn to 7. Your turn. 2 in base. Roll. Select pawn 1 in base. Cannot move. Pawn 2, yellow pawn to 27. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 12. Your turn. Roll. 2. Select pawn 2, yellow pawn to 29. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 17. Your turn. 2 in base. Roll. 2. Select pawn to play. Pawn 2 on 29. Yellow pawn to 31. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 22. Your turn. 2 in base. Roll. But select pawn yellow pawn to 33. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn moves to goal stairway step 2. Your turn. 2. Roll. 2. Select pawn 2, yellow pawn to 35. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to 20.
Why?
3. Red pawn to 23. Your turn. 2 in base. Roll. 2. Select pawn 1 in base. Cannot move. Pawn 2, yellow pawn to 37. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn moves to goal stairway step 3. Your turn. 2. Roll. 1. Select pawn 2 on 37. Yellow pawn to 38. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn moves to goal stairway step 4. Your turn. Menu. Close. Red player. 2 in base. Roll. Buck. 1. Select pawn 2 on yellow pawn to 39. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn moves to goal. 4. Red pawn to 31. Your turn. 2. Roll. 4. Select pawn to play. Pawn 2 on 39. Yellow pawn to 43. Red's turn. 1. Red pawn to 32. Your turn. 2 invade. Roll. 2. Select pawn 1 invade. Pawn 2 on. Yellow pawn to 45. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn moves to goal. 6. Red pawn to 38. 6. Red pawn to 44. 5. Red pawn to 49. Your turn. Roll. Menu. Roll. 1. Select pawn 2 on 45. Yellow pawn to 46. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 2. Your turn. 2 invade. Roll. 2. Select pawn 2 on 4. Yellow pawn to 48. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 6. Your turn. 2 invade. Roll. 6. Select pawn 1 to board. Roll. 6. Select pawn 3 on 1. Pawn 4 invade. Pawn 4 to board. Roll. Select pawn 2. Yellow pawn moves to goal stairway step 2. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 9. Your turn. Menu. Roll. Button. Select pawn 2 4 away from goal. Cannot move. Yellow pawn to 6. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 13. Your turn. Roll. 6. Select pawn 1 on 6. Yellow pawn to 12. Red player. Roll. Menu. Button. Select pawn 1 on 12. Can move. Pawn 2 4 away from goal. Yellow pawn moves to goal stairway step 5. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to 19. 2. Red pawn to 21. Your turn. Roll. 4. Select pawn 1 on 12. Yellow pawn to 16. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 23. Your turn. Roll. 5. Select pawn 1 on 16. Yellow pawn to 21. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn moves to goal stairway step 2. Your turn. Roll. 6. Select pawn 1 on 21. Can move. Yellow pawn to 27. Red player. Guest roll. 2. Select pawn 1 on yellow pawn to 29. Red's turn. 1. Red pawn moves to goal stairway step 3. Your turn. Roll. 6. Select pawn 1 on yellow pawn to 35. Red player. Roll. 5. Select pawn 1 on 35. Pawn 2 1 away from goal. Yellow pawn to 40. Red's turn. 6. Your turn. Roll. 4. Select pawn to play. Pawn 2 1 away from goal. Cannot move. Pawn 1. Yellow pawn to 44. Red's turn. 1. Red pawn moves to goal stairway step 4. Your turn. Your turn. Roll. 3. Select pawn 1. Yellow pawn to 47. Red's turn. 6. Your turn. Roll. 2. Select pawn 1 on 4. Pawn 2 1 away from yellow pawn to 49. Red's turn. 4. Your turn. Roll. 2. Select pawn 1 on yellow pawn to 51. Red's turn. 1. Red pawn moves to goal stairway step 5. Your turn. 3. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1 on yellow pawn moves to goal stairway step 3. Red's turn. 1. Red pawn moves to goal. Great game.
Speech on. pawn. You are now live. Christy Clown. Chupac. 1, 14, 57. Speech off.
First place, second place, Genevieve, exit. Button. Close message, exit. Button. Double tap to select.
Alright, y'all. One more round of this game, and I have to win.
2-player game. Choose game mode. Classic. Classic. Checked. Play. Trying to find opponent. Please wait. Ellipsis. This will take a few seconds. Player joined. Your color is yellow. Player, your turn. Roll. No moves. Red's turn. 4. Your turn. 6. Pawn 1 to board. Roll. Your turn. Yellow pawn to 6. Red's turn. 4. Your turn. 4. Yellow pawn to 10. Red's turn. 4. Your turn. 2. Yellow pawn to 12. Red's turn. 1. Your turn. 1. Yellow pawn to 13. Red's turn. 4. Your turn. 3. Yellow pawn to 16. Red's turn. 5. Your turn. 1. Yellow pawn to 17. Red's turn. 5. Your turn. 3. Yellow pawn to 20. Red's turn. 2. Your turn. 4. Yellow pawn to 24. Red's turn. 2. Your turn. 3. Yellow pawn to 27. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to board. 5. Red pawn to 32. Your turn. 2. Yellow pawn to 29. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 36. Your turn. 6. So pawn 1, pawn 2 to board. Red player 2. Roll. Select pawn, yellow pawn to 32. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 38. Your turn. 2 invade. Roll. Select pawn, yellow pawn to 35. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 42. Your roll. 1. Select pawn, yellow pawn to 36. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 46. Your turn. 2 in base. Roll. 1. Select pawn 1. Yellow pawn to 37. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to board. 2. Red pawn to 48. Your turn. 2 in base. Roll. Menu. Buff 2 in base. Roll. Select pawn 1. Yellow pawn to 40. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to board. 5. Red pawn to 1. Your turn. 2. Roll. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1 on, pawn 2 on, pawn 1 on 40. Save. Yellow pawn to 43. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 4. Your turn. 2 invade. Roll. Select pawn 1 on, yellow pawn to 45. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to board. 5. Red pawn to 9. Your turn. 2 in base. Roll. Select pawn 1 on 45. Yellow pawn to 47. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 14. Your turn. 2 invade. Roll. 6. Select pawn to pawn 1 on 47. Can move. Pawn 2 on 1. Pawn 3 in base. Possible text. Connect. Pawn 4 in base. Pawn 4 in base. Pawn 2 on 1. Pawn 3 to board. Roll. 6. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1 on 47. Pawn 2 on 1. Pawn 3 on 1. Pawn 4 to board. Roll. 6. 3 sixes in a row. Turn skip. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 16. Your turn. Double tap. Menu. Roll. 4. Select pawn 2 on 1. Yellow pawn to 51. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 18. Your turn. Roll. Menu. Roll. 3. Select pawn 1 on 51. Can move. Yellow pawn moves to gold stairway step 3. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to 24. 3. Red pawn moves to gold stairway step 2. Your turn. 3. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1 3 away from goal. Yellow pawn moves to goal. Red roll. 4. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1. Pawn 2 on 1. Yellow pawn to 5. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn moves to goal. 4. Red pawn to 31. Your turn. Roll. 4. Select pawn to yellow pawn to 9. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 31. Your turn. Roll. 5. Select pawn to yellow pawn to 14. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 33. Your turn. Roll. 1. Select pawn to play.
Speech off. Track position. Less than video clip selected. Selected. Speech off.
Pawn to yellow pawn to 15. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 33. Your turn. Roll. 4. Select pawn 1. Pawn 2. Yellow pawn to 19. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to 33. 4. Red pawn to 37. Your turn. Button. Roll. 3. Select pawn 2 on 19. Yellow pawn to 22. Red's turn. Downtown Mafia. Now. 6. Red pawn to 43. 2. Red pawn to 35. Your turn. Button. Menu. Double tap with net roll. Select pawn 1. Pawn 2 on 22. Yellow pawn to 27. Red's turn. 1. Red pawn to 44. Your possible text. Roll. 2. Select pawn 1 on goal. Pawn 2 on 27. Yellow pawn to 29. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 35. Your turn. Possible text. Connecting. Ellipsis. Roll. 2. Select pawn 2 on yellow pawn to 31. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 49. Your turn. Roll. 4. Select pawn 2. Yellow pawn to 35. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 1. Your turn. Possible text. Roll. 6. Select pawn 1. Pawn 2 on yellow pawn to 41. Red player. Roll. 6. Select pawn 1. Pawn 2 on yellow pawn to 47. Possible text. Roll. 1. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1. Pawn 2 on yellow pawn to 48. Red's turn. Messages. Now. +1, 3. Red pawn to 4. Your turn. Roll. 2. Select pawn to play. Messages. Pawn 2 on. Yellow pawn to 50. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 7. Your turn. Roll. 4. Select pawn to pawn 1. Pawn 2. Yellow pawn moves to gold stairway step 3. Red's turn. 1. Red pawn to 8. Your turn. Roll. 3. Select pawn 1. Pawn 2 3 away from. Yellow pawn moves to goal. Roll. 6. Select pawn 2. Pawn 3. Yellow pawn to 7. Red player. Roll. 2. Select pawn to pawn 2. Pawn 3. Yellow pawn to 9. Red's turn. 1. Red pawn to 9. Your turn. Possible text. Roll. Menu. Roll. Your. Select pawn to play. So pawn 1, pawn 2, pawn 3, yellow pawn to 13. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 11. Your turn. Possible text. Roll. Select pawn 2 on goal. Pawn 3 on yellow pawn to 18. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 14. Your turn. Possible text. 1. Roll. Select pawn 3. Yellow pawn to 23. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 17. Your turn. Possible text. Roll. 1. Select pawn 2. Pawn 3. Yellow pawn to 24. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 22. Your turn. Possible text. Roll. Select pawn 2. Pawn 3. Yellow pawn to 29. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn moves to gold stairway step 1. Your turn. Possible text. Roll. 2. Select pawn 2. Pawn 3. Yellow pawn to 31. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn moves to gold stairway step 5. Your turn. Roll. Button. Your turn. Select pawn 2. Pawn 3. Yellow pawn to 35. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 40. Your turn. Roll. Your. Select pawn 1. Pawn 2. On goal. Cannot move. Pawn 3 on 35. Yellow pawn to 39. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 43. Your turn. Roll. Select pawn 2. On goal. Pawn 3 on 39. Pawn 4 on 1. Save. Pawn 2. Pawn 3 on 39. Yellow pawn to 44. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 47. Your turn. Roll. Button. 4. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1. On. Pawn 2. On. Pawn 3 on 44. Yellow pawn to 48. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 52. Your turn. Roll. Select pawn 1. Pawn 2. On. Pawn 3 on 48. Save. Yellow pawn moves to gold stairway step 2. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn to 5. Your turn. Roll. Button. Your. 6. Yellow pawn to 7. Select pawn to play. Pawn 1. Pawn 2. Pawn 3 4 away from goal. Yellow pawn moves to goal. Red. Roll. 1. Your turn. Yellow pawn to 8. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 9. Your turn. 5. Yellow pawn to 13. Red's turn. 1. Red pawn moves to goal. 5. Red pawn to 14. Your turn. 1. Yellow pawn to 14. Red's turn. 2. Red pawn to 16. Your turn. 4. Yellow pawn to 18. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to 22. 5. Red pawn moves to goal stairway step 2. Your turn. 3. Yellow pawn to 21. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn moves to goal. 2. Red pawn to 37. Your turn. 1. Yellow pawn to 22. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 41. Your turn. 5. Yellow pawn to 27. Red's turn. 4. Red pawn to 45. Your turn. 4. Yellow pawn to 31. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to 51. 2. Red pawn to 1. Your turn. 5. Yellow pawn to 36. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to 7. 5. Red pawn to 12. Your turn. 5. Yellow pawn to 41. Red's turn. 3. Red pawn to 15. Your turn. 4. Yellow pawn to 45. Red's turn. 6. Red pawn to 21. 5. Red pawn moves to goal stairway step 1. Your turn. 1. Yellow pawn to 46. Red's turn. 5. Red pawn moves to goal. Great game. Great game. First place, guest on. Second place, Jenna the Angel. Exit. Exit button.
Alright, you guys.
Double tap to select. Button.
I'm gonna cut it
Double
here.
tap to select. Home. Game
Okay.
world.
I didn't
Double
win.
tap to open.
I didn't win, but at least I tried. So, I will catch y'all next time. And thank you guys.
Speech on. Quick nav on.
And thank you for whoever stayed to watch this long.
1. Chupacabra joined. Christy Clown joined. You are now live. Close. Button. Camera select. Audio only broadcast. Stop broadcast.